aboard! Next stop, Chicago Junction.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of Chicago Junction from the John DeVito Broadcast Center on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network and on Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM Norwich on Monday, September the 14th, the year 2015. Today, the panel will be talking about railroads and model railroads. And now to start today's broadcast, here's our moderator, Mr. Jack Ryan.
Ooh, Mr. I don't usually get such respect. Thanks a lot, John. That was our producer and the head of this operation and chief engineer, John DeVita. Thank you, John. We're operating a little late tonight. We have some people unable to attend due to employment and vacation, and we have one of our
Brian, hang on.
just calling in, I think. Brian Ballou is on assignment. We've sent him to the Lincoln funeral train. I think they're in Ohio somewhere right now. So, to my right, you, sir, are
Dave DeRuska.
And your background with railroad is?
Locomotive engineer for a bunch of railroads, last one being Metra. I also write a blog called Player with Railroads, which is about Chicago railroad history.
Yeah, but you have some other background, don't you? Did you go to IAT and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. I went
to stuff like that?
Went to Illinois Institute of Technology, studied design there. Worked as a supervisor for locomotive engineers for a short time with Metra, about 6 years. So,
good.
Jack of all trade, master of none.
I'm a master of no trades either. Not even a jack of them. Okay, and we have, to my left, Doug Kenyuk.
Yep, Doug Kenyuk.
And, come on. This is the Marcel Marceau of the place here.
Adjunct professor at Wright College, railroad official over at the Railroad and Short Lines Club of Chicago. Our website's rscc.dhke.com. And rail fan.
And you are at Wright College in Chicago here.
Right.
And what is it you teach
Correct.
there?
Computers.
Computers. And are they harder to teach than people are?
Yes.
Okay, believe it or not, we just mentioned his name. He called. We have a caller. And are you online, Brian? Go.
You got it. How are you, Jack?
This is Brian Ballou and our normal, regular, not so normal, but regular panelist. And you are where right now, Brian?
Okay. How's everybody doing?
We're doing fine, aren't we?
So far, so
Well,
good.
I'm calling from Troy, Ohio. We got the Leviathan locomotive and Lincoln funeral car set up in the middle of the street, and they're doing a Lincoln celebration.
Okay. And you've been on this for a couple of weeks now, or?
Pardon?
You've been with the train for a couple of weeks now, or something, or?
Yeah, I've been with it since the third week of August.
Okay. And what's going on there? Is it Troy? Is it around where?
Troy, Ohio is north of Dayton.
Okay.
Not that far. They have the celebration set up. They're doing, it is a complete Lincoln celebration. Apparently this artist in the East made this statue, which he's going to travel around to different cities with, and their first stop was Troy. The statue is about 25 feet tall of Lincoln. It's bronze.
It's there now as we speak, huh?
Pardon?
It's there now as we speak?
Yes, it is. There is a Facebook for the city of Troy, or you can go on YouTube. I know there are a couple videos of the circus we had yesterday trying to set up the equipment.
Which circus was that?
the circus of us walking, running around like monkeys, trying to put the train together in the middle of the street.
So that would qualify you as a roustabout now?
Yeah, I'm a roustabout.
So,
All you do is put overalls on me, give me a yellow shirt, and you can call me a minion.
Okay, call you a minion. Okay, now the Lincoln train, is that just the engine in that one car, or is there anything else with it?
Yeah, this is just the Leviathan and the Lincoln funeral car.
Okay, and let's see now your portion of the accompanying them. How long will it be? Much last, or it'll be?
We'll be actually on the road until I believe it's the second weekend of October. Our last stop will be Hammond.
So you got about a good month left, huh?
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
We have about 3-4 weeks.
Any
Next
questions?
weekend we're going to Francisville, Indiana, just north of Monon. We'll be off for a week, and then we're going to Dover, Ohio, and then the weekend after that, the last weekend, will be in Hammond, Indiana. That'll be the closest that the Lincoln car will be on display to Chicago.
Okay, there's probably some information on the Hammond page there too about that, then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now,
In fact, apparently Troy did good advertising because apparently it hit the newspapers in Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and has it brought people there?
Pardon?
Does it seem to have brought anyone over there?
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. Anybody got some questions for Brother Valou here? Come on, somebody.
Oh, hey, Brian.
Doug.
Middle of the street. What do you mean by middle of the street?
We are in the middle of the street. We had to lay some, basically we laid like panel track made from steel channel.
Okay. Now, is this like there's a carnival or something wrapped around this, or what?
Pardon?
Is there like a carnival or rides, or? Is
No,
this
we
like a
actually
festival?
have, we're at the City Hall, and we are actually, they have, doing oh, geez. I can't even remember the word. We have phony soldiers and stuff around us, an encampment.
Oh, war reenactment.
Pardon?
Is it?
Reenactors.
Reenactors, that's the
Yeah.
word.
So Civil
And
War.
apparently, on Saturday, they're going to do a ceremony moving the casket to and from the train.
Well, that'd be interesting. That'd be something to see, huh? Anyway, have you? Go ahead.
Pardon?
We've just been joined by Brother Ron Smolin. How are you?
Okay, guys.
Do?
Hey, what's the date? What's the exact date in Hammond? Do you know
The
offhand?
date, I think it's around I think the 8th might be the last day of it, but that weekend.
Is that the last weekend of September?
October.
Or October. Last weekend of October.
No,
First weekend of October.
second one.
Second weekend of October.
You'll get it eventually.
Okay. Where in Hammond is it going to be? Do you know?
I have no idea where in Hammond it's going to be.
Oh, that's nice.
We do know where Hammond is, so that we have we do have a little advantage there. Dave, any questions?
No.
No. That's good. How have you by chance run into Shannon Brown?
Yes, by the way, Shannon does send her best to you guys, and she'll be joining us actually tomorrow.
Oh, very good. Tell me what you look like. I had to ask that one.
Okay. Well, listen, I had just had to call to say because this is also our anniversary show.
That's right. Woo-hoo. We're starting
But,
3 years now.
I do miss you guys, and hopefully I'll see you in October.
Okay, listen, thanks for calling, and have a good one.
You too, Jack.
We'll try to see you in Hammond.
Okay, see you there.
We'll bring you a pizza or something from Chicago? Or what? Anyway, Shannon Brown, for our listeners, is a lady from the committee who we spoke to several times on the air. We got all kinds of information when they were putting this thing together. They're making was that an Elgin they were working on the
Yeah.
locomotive and reconstructing the actual. Was the Lincoln funeral car was destroyed? Am I right? The real one?
Yes.
Fire.
Yeah.
Do you remember when that
Yeah,
was?
this is a replica. No.
Okay. So anyway, that's a little business on that. So it's interesting. One of our guys got to be a part of it. So anyway, what do we got to talk about today? Anybody got anything good?
Oh, we got all kinds of stuff.
Okay, who wants to start?
I will. Positive train control. For anybody who is unfamiliar with that term, positive train control is a system of train safety operating via computers and satellite that can control the locomotive of a train. It's designed to prevent trains from going too fast through slow speed restrictions. It can prevent head-on collisions. It can do a number of things, but what it is doing right now is driving the railroads nuts because they are under a mandate to have this implemented by the end of the year. This was an unfunded federal mandate saying that all the railroads have to have positive train control, particularly ones that share tracks with passenger trains and commuter trains. The commuter railroads and Amtrak are equally responsible for installing positive train control on their equipment as well. I have two letters, one from the Union Pacific and one from the Burlington Northern Santa Fe, basically telling their customers, their shippers, that they will not be able to meet the mandate date of implementation, and the federal government has attached severe fines to any railroad that operates trains beyond that date without positive train control. So they have basically told their shippers, we will not operate trains. Now, if you can imagine, these are two of the major railroads in the United States, and I'm sure the other railroads as well are in the same situation. They have spent quite a bit of money in the Union Pacific. They have invested $1.8 billion, and the Burlington Northern Santa Fe has invested $1.5 billion, and they're continuing to invest. But it's a tough process. It took them a long time to find the right kind of software. It's basically special designed. The railroads have each set off on their own implementation process, which means that there's very little commonality between the systems. So they've run into problems with that. Metra is nowhere near ready to implement their. Here we go. Well, you can chime in there.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Just on the cost, its estimated cost nationwide was somewhere in the area of $13 billion plus. Metro just let a contract go to a company called Parsons for positive train control, and basically their system is going to be called the electronic train management system. Has to be able to operate with all 12 railroads that they interface with, and it's going to include a system of locomotive-mounted GPS devices, radios, trackside antennas, and computers. This contract doesn't say how much it is, but it says it's their biggest expenditure to date for Metra.
Now, given the fact that Metra is already operating on a shoestring budget, they have equipment that desperately needs replacement. They need to order new cars, new locomotives. They have the ongoing maintenance of the track, and on top of this, they've been saddled with a huge cost of positive train control.
Right. So fares are going up.
They've gone up already. They'll be going up again.
Taxes are going up.
Yeah, nothing changes. But part of the big problem is that they're trying to convince the public and the shippers to contact their congressmen and senators, because there's I don't know if there's an actual bill out there or if it's under consideration. They want to extend the deadline so that the railroads would not be hit with these massive fines.
They want to extend the deadline another 3 years.
That doesn't sound unreasonable to me. If such a monstrous undertaking.
Well, not only that, but it's typical of the federal government. It's an unfunded mandate. They go ahead and they just pass these laws and they say, okay, you guys go out and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the ramifications of this, if any one of the major railroads shuts down, business in this country will grind to a halt. People don't realize how integral the railroads are to supplying supplies to manufacturing, commuters to work every day, Amtrak passengers. Amtrak has been on an upswing with their passenger loadings, and this is all going to put a spike in the economy, a big spike in the economy if the railroads go through with this. They don't want to be hit with daily fines.
Was it when it was enacted, or was it enacted, or was it just a mandate?
It was a mandate from the Federal Railroad Authority.
Mm-hmm. So, how long did this actually go? Did the mandate come out? A year? 2 years?
Oh no, it's been it's been quite some time. The mandate came out in 2008.
Okay, it's been a while.
So here we are, yeah. But again, it's a complicated technological feat, and it's just not that simple.
Some of the congressmen were watching too many sci-fi movies, and they got this idea that computers are smarter than they are, basically. Just as a side note, many years ago, when there was the Chicago Northwestern, I believe sometime in the 70s, they went on strike for a couple of days.
Who's that?
Yeah.
And there was all kinds of problems. I remember the judge holding court on his front lawn to force the engineers back to take the commuters to work.
Right.
And then didn't Conrail have a strike for about 24 hours that caused a bunch of problems?
I'm not sure, but
Their strike literally shut down the automakers for a couple of days.
Yeah, nowadays industry does not keep a lot of stuff on hand. It's basically a day-to-day
Just-in-time inventory.
Just-in-time inventory. It's got to be there on time for them to continue to work. If it doesn't show up, nobody goes to work. So not only will the railroads not be working, a lot of industry in this country won't be working.
On that note, Metra does have a new source of commuter cars. Turns out, Michigan Department of Transportation, which had been paying $3,000 a month, $3,000 a day to the Great Lakes Railroad short line to store former Metra gallery cars that were supposed to be used in two different commuter services in Michigan. One line was going to be between Dearborn and Detroit, and the other line was between Howell and Ann Arbor. Both projects are on hold at the moment, so finally somebody figured out that they've been spending $3,000 a day to store 28 cars that they're not going to use. So now Great Lakes, let's see, what's the name? The railroad name is Great Lakes Central, owns 23 of the 30 cars, are free to lease it to anybody else. So it's a matter of about, 3-4 months before Metro leases their own cars back.
Right.
Can we lease one maybe? And
have our show in it?
Do they have a website? We bid on it?
Well, you're the one with the eBay account, so you could probably.
There we go.
There's a mysterious voice coming from.
Maybe they're selling one.
Know. Yeah.
Maybe they'll sell you one on eBay.
So Ron, what's up? Ron Smolin joined us a little bit late.
I'm just here, John.
You're just here? Come on, you must have something to say.
I'll add in along the way.
Okay.
Well, I got a question for Ron. You had mentioned on our Facebook page about the Kenosha streetcars, an article about when they were supposedly going to get federal money, and the city was supposed to come up with matching funds for that. Did they ever do that?
There's a lot of politics involved in that, and it's still ongoing. And right now, I know some information, but I'm not at liberty to say too much about it because of what's going on. But yes, they did get the funding. Everything was passed. Then there was just a political thing that stopped it, and that's where we're standing at right now.
Matching funds, is that like for a pyromaniac or something? No? For the firemen?
No, that's for a dating service.
Yeah, they've had those around too. Yeah, okay.
Go back to your eBay account and find us a caboose for John's backyard.
On a side note, I was up in Kenosha on Sunday, and with just pure luck, they were running the Chicago painted PCC that day. That's the pictures I posted in the
Right.
Chicago Junction there and stuff. So it's
Painted PCCs. What's that?
Chicago Surface Lines color scheme.
Oh, okay. So surface lines, the old.
Yeah, the PCC cars with presidential
Conference.
Then you're talking about the yellow now, correct?
No.
No, you're talking about streetcars.
Yeah.
Okay. The red ones. They call them the Red Rockets. Here was their nickname. No.
The ones after the red ones.
They were?
The Green Hornets.
Yeah, the Green,
The Green
Hornets,
Hornet.
right.
It was a special. Wasn't it a special order for Chicago? I understood about 1.5 times as large as most of them, and
Yeah, they were a little bigger, I think.
they were bigger. Yeah.
Chicago's big issue. They were slightly built off center to operate on the existing lines that we had because they were a little wider. So they were just built slightly off center so they could operate without hitting each other. That's
This is,
the big issue for Chicago.
I remember those very well myself. That was like, whoa, you're riding on the Green Hornet right now. And they had the Red Rockets, Green Hornets, and they also had the Blue Goose or something was one. Was
Yeah,
kind
the,
of
the Blue Goose was just prior to the Green Hornets. Yeah,
kind of similar in style. I thought.
right. Different car manufacturer.
They were,
Yeah, they were manufactured by a different company.
but they look somewhat alike, and I think
Yes.
the Blue Goose was a little bit smaller, if I remember correctly. No,
Kenosha,
Well,
what Kenosha has is the PCC cars.
I'm the oldest guy sitting at the table, and John's a little older than I am, but I do remember the streetcars on 63rd Street, on Ashland Avenue, Western. John, what were the big streets for streetcars that you remember? Most of them, or
Well, you had Broadway and Clark, Western Avenue. I had the Green Hornet was on Western Avenue. It went from Howard Street all the way far south, about 95th Street, 100 South. You had them on Clark Street and Broadway. And where else was there?
Ashland Avenue?
Yeah, I think they did have them on
South we did,
Ashland. Yeah.
You had the red cars on Ashland. They never had the PCCs on Ashland. They
That's
had the
right.
PCCs on Halsted Street for a while.
That's right, yes, Halsted Street, that's right.
Halsted?
was that where they had that famous wreck on the south side with the gasoline truck?
There was Wentworth.
That was-
63rd, yeah.
63rd and Wentworth.
My mother, we went shopping that night. I was 4, something like that. Her and my daughter. 63rd and Halsted used to be a big shopping area.
Right.
But like it's supposed to be second to the loop, they said. Anyway, this happened and they were away. I'm at home, a little guy with my dad, and he hears on the radio they said it was 63rd and Halsted, and he thought, oh my God, But it wasn't. It was in Wentworth. But it was one of the streetcar collided with a oil truck.
Gasoline truck.
Yeah,
Gasoline, yeah.
gasoline truck, yes.
And it was
And what had happened on that fire, people got so panicked that they all jammed against the door, and the door couldn't open, neither the front door or the side door, and everybody just got cremated.
That's kind of like the same thing would happen at the Iroquois Theater then. Nobody could get out, right?
Right.
That's right, exactly.
So that would have been early 50s, I presume. No?
No,
Yeah.
I think it was later than that. I think it was.
It was
I think it was late 50s or maybe even in the mid 60s. I think.
No, it couldn't have been because we still lived at the old house on Shields. I know that. We rented the flat down there, about 10 blocks south of Comiskey Park.
Mhm.
So no, that was not that. I suppose we could find it somewhere.
Looks like somebody's going to ask Siri.
Yes.
Is Siri here? What is Siri?
I think it was 63rd. Wasn't it 63rd and State Street, John?
Wentworth?
You
Not
know, I'm
Wentworth.
not. You know, now I'm.
You could-
I'm not sure.
It
You
was-
may be right.
It was 63rd and State because the viaduct was flooded, and the PCC was speeding, and he didn't see the switch open, and the flagman showing him that he was going to have to turn.
Oh.
And he hit the switch, the open switch, and that's when he derailed and he hit the gasoline truck. And about a whole block of buildings even burnt.
Well, you may be right. Then again, I may not be.
Now, if only they had had positive train control back then, none of that would have happened.
But one of the things that did, it created a new design for the current buses. A lot of the trolley buses were changed, and all the new buses that were designed afterwards had the automatic push-out doors in the back,
Oh, yeah?
so that would not happen again. And the front doors are designed to be pushed out in case there's no power
Okay.
on all the vehicles.
the things that people don't think of till it's too late, I guess, is what it comes down to. So, anyhow, that begs you mentioned trolley buses. For those who aren't aware, they had the design and body of a bus, and they had the trolley electrical hookup like the streetcars did, except they were mobile enough that they could pull in from the middle, like to the curb to pick you up or whatever. And they were very quick on acceleration, I remember. They were around till like 1969, 70, I know.
73.
Grand Avenue, huh?
1973.
Okay, that was pretty close, huh?
And most of those buses, a lot of them went to not Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico. Mm-hmm. And while Chicago said they were kaput, the buses were no good.
Yeah,
those buses still operate another 10 to 15 years out there.
I believe it. It's a shame that we ever lost the streetcars. Anyway, I think that was a great, dependable. It was picturesque. It was clean. Am I wrong? Anybody want to object here?
No.
I know they had the trolley buses going down North Avenue because my Uncle Joe, my mother's brother, Uncle Joe, he was one of the drivers on the trolley bus, and he used to pull out of North Avenue and Cicero's, where the barn was for the trolley buses over there.
Okay, they were on Wentworth, the last one, because that was the last one to have streetcars. They were on 47th Street, Kedzie, Grand Avenue.
Belmont.
Belmont, was it?
Yeah.
55th.
Okay. Come on, anybody else? Come on.
For electric buses?
Yeah.
Lawrence, Montrose, Irving Park, Belmont, Fullerton, Armitage, Central,
See, he remembers the end
Cicero, Pulaski.
Was it Crawford? Then was it Pulaski?
No, in Chicago it's Pulaski.
Yeah.
Outside the city it's Crawford.
Used to be Crawford in Chicago too. See.
Yep, till 1933 when the mayor
Is that one
decided to
that
change it.
long ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. How about that? But we digress.
I remember every time they would cross an intersection that the trolley would come off the wires and the bus would get stuck in the middle of the intersection, and the driver had to get out and relocate the trolley back up on the wires again so he could keep on going.
And a lot of people don't realize that there were two streets right here on the northwest side, and I'll post a picture on our website of one of them, sitting at the corner of Narragansett and Irving Park.
Right.
But it's going south on Narragansett, because Narragansett had the trolley buses, and so did Diversey.
Well, let's put a plug in for our Facebook page then.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are on Facebook, Chicago Junction. Type it in the search; it'll show up.
What's Facebook? I just got an
It's making
iPad.
somebody rich, I'll tell you that.
I just got an iPhone. I just got it out of the flip phone era, so.
I got a me phone.
Yeah. I me, huh? So anyway, okay. Where else? Got anything to go, Dave? What do you got?
I got a bunch of. I can read stuff out of the Black Hawk National Railway Historical Society Black Hawk chapter. Spike and Tie. I'm a member. I get their newsletter, and they always have a lot of really good information in here. The Indiana Department of Transportation has signed a long-term passenger rail agreement with Amtrak, Iowa Pacific Holdings, and the online communities for the operation of the Hoosier State Train, which operates 4 days a week between Chicago and Indianapolis. That was some controversy about that. Indiana was looking for a contractor to provide the service at a lower cost than Amtrak was doing, and with better amenities for the passengers. So Iowa Pacific Holdings bid on it, won the bid, and they are providing equipment and I believe onboard personnel. Amtrak is providing the engineers because Iowa Pacific didn't have anybody qualified to operate on that territory. So they have new amenities on board, improved food service. Let's see, fresh foods, drinks, including alcoholic beverages, for purchase on board. Passengers can stay productive or enjoy the journey with limited free Wi-Fi service on all passenger cars. Hoosier State's Wi-Fi network uses available bandwidth from cellular carriers along the tracks. And there's also a dome lounge car involved. So that's big news. The other news, Wisconsin paid $9.75 million to Talgo to settle a lawsuit. There were originally under the previous governor before Mr. Walker, Wisconsin signed an agreement with Talgo to operate their Talgo train sets between Chicago, I believe. Was it Chicago and Milwaukee?
Chicago to Milwaukee, and possibly to Minneapolis.
And when Governor Walker took over, he decided that that wasn't such a great thing, and he decided to just abrogate the contract without any, he wasn't really too concerned. So Talgo turned around and sued him. Not only was there the train set that two train sets they were supposed to have purchased, but there was a maintenance agreement involved as well.
Hold that thought. We got to take a quick break here.
You are listening to Chicago Junction on Jack FM 89.7, WRHS FM Norwich, and the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on Monday, September the 14th, the year 2015. And now back to Chicago Junction and our panel. Jack?
Dave?
Yes?
How's that for a quick double play combination?
See, under the agreement, Talgo will try to sell the trains, and if the trains are sold within 3 years, the state can collect 30% of the net price of the sale, up to $9.75 million, which means the trains would have to sell for roughly $32.5 million for Wisconsin to recover the cost of settlement. The likelihood of Talgo selling the trains within 3 years remains unclear. The Michigan Department of Transportation has expressed interest in acquiring the trains for use between Detroit and Chicago, but has not made an offer for them. The trains are currently being stored at Amtrak's maintenance facility at Beech Grove, Indiana.
Doesn't Seattle or Amtrak run a Talgo train up there?
Yeah, along the coastliner, I think it's called.
So it'd be a logical thing to sell it to Amtrak then.
If Amtrak's in the mood for buying things.
Is Amtrak governmental?
Yes.
Well, then why would they think logically? All right. We have a quick bulletin. Ron, our research department is just to contact us. What is this about the?
That disaster was at 63rd and State Street, but it was 1950.
1950. Yeah, I said it was about 4. Anyway.
Well, thank God for the internet and cell phones.
Go ahead. Well, anything else, or?
I can keep on going.
Go ahead. Please. Please. Fill some air time.
You're right. Amtrak is studying a second train between Chicago and St. Paul, which they say is feasible. Track work is being done to allow 110-mile-per-hour Amtrak travel through Battle Creek. Look out, Battle Creek. A Grand Rapids, Detroit train idea is taking shape. Springfield Rail Consolidation Project. Springfield's ongoing Union Pacific Norfolk Southern Rail Consolidation Project should soon be taking a step forward. Includes building underpasses for the 10th Street Rail corridor as scheduled. And it's probably going to make everybody happy not having to wait for trains. Another thing about it's kind of a side note on the PTC thing is that there's been some serious consideration for slowing down any train that is carrying a volatile substance such as crude oil or whatever else so even as low as 10 miles per hour through cities. So if you thought waiting at a crossing was bad now you'll be enjoying what I get on the south side. 10-mile-an-hour trains. Lawmakers to Congress. Metro needs time, cash for the PTC upgrade. The new Joliet Station, the rehab for the Joliet Station bid came in $12.1 million over budget. So now they're
That's all?
You said that.
That was a low bid.
That's a plea to the lawmakers about extending a little more time.
Right, and finding money because Metro can't afford it.
It's funny that you should mention. It makes me think of George McGovern was a senator from Minnesota, correct? And he was also the Democratic Standard Bearer in 1972.
Yes.
Okay. He eventually retired. He ran a bed and breakfast somewhere in New England, and he publicly said, "If I ever knew how hard it was to be in business, I would have voted a lot differently in the Senate." So that just made me think of that right now. Nothing to do with any trains, but
Speaking of money being sort of wasted, the Skokie Swift is still not running. They still haven't figured out how to fix the collapse of the embankment. That brings to mind that they just opened that $24 million Oakton Street station on the line, and now they can't use it.
Now, the Skokie Swift is part of the CTA, is it not?
Yes.
Is an old remnants of some other line?
Chicago, North Shore, and Milwaukee Railroad.
Yeah.
It was their, what was it, their
Skokie-
high-speed line.
The high-speed line, the Skokie cutoff, they called it.
Right.
Skokie
Yeah.
Valley.
They, someone was trying to tell me that the Skokie Swift was a bird. Some kind of a bird, but no.
Well, actually, the first L cars they used there actually had a little bird design on it.
See?
Yeah, for anyone not familiar with the situation, the Metropolitan Sanitary District was doing some work. I don't know if they were laying more pipes or things, and they were working close to the embankment. They actually were aware that they were getting a lot of movement, and what Walsh Construction did was they went to the CTA and they said, we want to change our specs for how much movement is allowed, and the CTA went along with it. And what they didn't anticipate was that the movement would include undermining the tracks, having them collapse. So now they're trying to figure out what to do. They're trying to figure out who's to blame. They're trying to figure out who's going to pay.
And meantime, the line is not operable because of that. The Skokie shops are cut off from the rest of the line.
Right, they got to truck
So-
stuff in.
So when they receive their new L cars, they first go to the Skokie shop where they finish assembly, basically put the L car on its truck, so its wheels. Then they put it back on the truck and take it down to the 63rd Street yards to put them in service.
The Skokie Swift, have they given that a color too, like orange line, blue line, red line,
Yellow.
yellow? Oh,
Yes, but nobody calls it that.
no, I think so.
It'll always be the Skokie Swift.
Swifts aren't really yellow anyway, as far as I know. Canaries maybe, but Canaryville is nowhere near there. Go ahead. Anything else?
Anything else? NICD, that's the Northern Indiana Commuter Transportation District, which runs the South Shore, has approved a pilot program to allow bicycles on the train.
How do you balance on the rails?
On the train, not on
Oh,
the rails.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, they've got some Metro station projects. Metro just wrapped up the Oak Park Station repair project. They upgraded the Mayfair Station, and they're beginning work on a Waukegan Station project.
Well, Mayfair's in progress. I was just on the line Sunday.
Yeah.
That one's in progress. They're lengthening the station. Grayland, the one before that, they just took out the spurs, the last spurs. Both of them, one was a team track, one was like to hold maintenance equipment.
Uh-huh.
Spurs are gone. They're extending that station because Metro discovered, hey, Cub fans, they get off and take the Addison bus. So the station's too small for most 8-car trains.
Well, not only that, but that neighborhood's really starting to take off in terms of,
Yes.
it's been discovered as it gets too expensive to live in the lakefront neighborhoods. People are moving out to the outer regions, and
Which neighborhood is this now?
Grayland, Milwaukee, and Kilpatrick.
Okay.
And the factories that used to be on the east side of the track are all gone now. That's now becoming a big townhome development.
right.
Did they tear them down, or did they rehab them like they do? You see
No,
in
tore them down.
No, they tore them down.
these places that were factories that are now,
Yeah, no, they didn't go loft.
Interesting
that's
enough,
a loft. That's the word.
interesting enough, the only building they didn't tear down there is the biker bar. Seriously, it's at the bottom of
They
the
wouldn't
steps of the
dare.
metro station. There's a bar there. It's
They
the only
wouldn't.
building they didn't tear down in that block.
They wouldn't dare, Did you see Pee Wee's Big Adventure?
Yep.
So,
Okay, they're still talking about Metro service to Kendall County. This has been ongoing since 2004.
Yeah, but they got to get a change in Illinois law to do that.
Yeah. Oh, to
Extend the transit district.
Right. It was 2004. Then Speaker of the House Dennis Hastert, we all remember him, included a $7.5 million as an earmark in the federal transportation bill to study the extension. A little more than $2 million of it has been spent, and Metro board members recently agreed to spend more. That would bring the total up to about $3 million. So they continue to study. Metro's really good at that, studies. They study lots of stuff and spend lots of money doing it.
A story came across the one of the forums talking about how somebody wants to connect O'Hare and Midway with Metro Rail. Well, I have a study at home done in 1995 called the Inner Circumference Study that talked about the 5 or 6 different ways to have Metro service between O'Hare and Midway. And so it's nothing new. It's just that every about 10 years somebody goes, oh, I think we ought to have something that connects.
Did anyone remember when it was a big deal? They had the L line that was going out to O'Hare, but only not all the way. Remember, it went to where did it cut off originally?
All right, when they built the extension from Logan Square, it went first to Jefferson Park because at that time the Chicago Northwestern protested that they were going to take away their O'Hare customers. Mm-hmm. Now, how did people riding the Northwestern commuter service get to O'Hare? Well, they got off at Park Ridge and took a cab.
There was also, I remember at the time, I can't think of the man's name. He was president of Checker Yellow and of Continental Trailways. He had something to do with them. He was on the board, too, at the time. But they did do it eventually where you, as we know, we can always get all the way out to O'Hare now.
Right. Right after Metro took over the commuter services, now we can get the line extended to O'Hare. Mm-hmm. It went as far as Rosemont because the company doing the construction ran out of money, went bankrupt. So then they finally got a third company in to finish from Rosemont to O'Hare.
I'll bet you it was Walsh.
I couldn't tell you who the company was.
Here's the deal with Metro, and they've done this many times, is they get a low-bid contractor to come in and do a project. They starve them for money. They can't finish the project. They go out of business, and then they call Walsh Construction in to finish the job. It's a sweetheart deal.
That doesn't sound honest to me.
You do live in Chicago, right?
Yes, all my life. Well, not yet. I haven't lived all my life yet.
Yeah.
Okay, here's some stuff that will make Dave happy. Out in Wisconsin, apparently it's now against the law and considered trespassing to walk across railroad tracks. Apparently, Wisconsin had for a long time on the books a law that said crossing the tracks to get to your favorite fishing spot was legal, or hunting and walking your dog and whatever, and the law expired and Governor Walker vetoed putting that law back into effect. In the interim, the railroads start putting up fences along their right-of-way, and the Wisconsinites are up in arms because they can't get to their favorite fishing spot on the Wisconsin and Mississippi River. They can't walk their dogs. Basically, they can't walk across the tracks any longer.
Well, they could learn a lesson from the people on the South Chicago branch of Metro. Metro put up fencing in certain high trafficked areas. There's a post office right around 75th Street, I believe, and Exchange.
Okay, yeah.
And what people would do is that they'd park on the northbound side of Exchange and then walk across the tracks to go to the post office. So somebody at Metro, well, first of all, the engineers start complaining. Oh, we got all these people walking in front of the train. We're only going 30 miles an hour, but God, And it never bothered me. I just blow the whistle a lot. Made me happy. Never hit anybody the whole time I worked there. It's hard to hit people at 30 miles an hour unless they walk right in front of you. So Metro put up fencing, inter-track fencing between the two tracks. And people immediately started breaking it apart or climbing over it, so they added barbed wire to it. And people still climbed over it. So, you cannot change human nature.
Oh, Metrite, though, could electrify the fence.
No, they could have, yeah.
Okay, on that note, windows. The Michigan Central main depot in Detroit is getting finally refurbished. The guy who owns a series of junkyards bought the building, the property, and he's starting to rehabilitate it. First order of business, put windows back in so the weather doesn't continue damaging the station. And at last count, they said they were 80% complete. He owns the whole complex, and they're hoping to turn it into an artist enclave, yuppie type place. Hey, they're going to save the exterior, and of course, the purist are complaining now because the guy's putting in thermal windows.
Right.
He goes, well, those are not accurately to the building. They didn't have those in 1923. Hey, they're saving the building.
Yeah.
What more do you want? Interesting news, a little something on turnabout. United Airlines has taken away the president of CSX Corporation and made them the president of United Airlines. So a railroad executive is now an airline executive.
CSX is Chesapeake or what?
Well, just CSX, but it's Chesapeake and Ohio Railroad.
That's what it was. Okay.
Or
and
Chessie
the, and the
System.
Baltimore and Ohio Railroad.
Yeah.
It was a merger, a combination, an
Right.
amalgam of many railroads.
Yeah, they were going under Chessie for a while. Then they
Right.
decided one day just CSX, and that
Is
was
that
it.
one with the cat?
Yeah.
Black cat.
So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. The guy did work for Amtrak at one point. So it's kind of fun to see that a railroad guy is going to run an airline. Be interesting. Other news, Arizona is going to start, they're starting down the path to have their first commuter railroad between Phoenix and Tucson. They are they're looking at they got about 9 different pathways between the two cities. So they're taking the first steps. Here's one that our traction guy will like. Orange County is going to put in a streetcar line down in Orange County, California.
Okay.
It's only 4 miles long. It's going to run from the train station to what they call Garden Grove past downtown. However, it's going to cost $250 million. That's basically $75 million a mile. Sounds like California, though.
Yeah.
Especially with their budgetary considerations right now. Huh?
Yep. So we talked about Metro. There was an article. Metro was doing all kinds of work along the Milwaukee North Line. So we mentioned the 2 stations,
Right.
Grayland, but they were doing all kinds of other replacement and track work on the weekends. Long Island Railroad's double tracking 12 miles of their line. Apparently they got a lot of commuters suddenly sprung up. They're spending $388 million to do 12 miles. That works out to about $50 million a mile.
Will that include fences?
Says so. They got the land already, and they're doing it in chunks, though. They're not doing it all at once, so they're doing it in 3 and 4 mile sections. So it looks like New York's finally coughed up the money to finish the project, something they started a couple of years ago. They figured it'll be done by 2020.
City of New York or the state or what?
Long Island.
Long Island.
Yeah. Here's one that caught, I think, a lot of people by surprise. The Chinese are building a rail car manufacturing plant in Massachusetts. Now, I thought our industry was in trouble here. They only got, what, Trinity, who's the other rail car manufacturer? There's only a handful of them.
Thrall?
So,
Does Thrall still make cars?
yes. So this thing's scheduled to open in 2017, and from what they sound like, they're going to build subway cars. So we don't have a subway manufacturer any longer. Everything comes
Right.
from someplace else.
Right.
So they're coming in to do that. Apparently they got a contract with, of course, Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority. What a surprise. That's all it says for them right now. And they expect to be in operation in 2018, and the first cars delivered in 2019.
Hopefully they get a better deal on those cars than MBTA got on the locomotives they bought, which were immediately pulled out of service because of major structural problems.
MBTA is what now?
Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority.
Okay.
That's basically they operate all the stuff in Boston.
Oh, you mean like the T?
Yep.
Yep.
Did he ever return?
Nope.
And his fate is still unlearned.
Yeah.
You can hand him a sandwich.
No, I was going to say, couldn't you give him some more money instead of sandwich every day?
No idea.
The song we referred to was, of course, was it the PTA in the MTA? Charlie and the MTA was actually a political song. What, in the 30s was it, or 20s?
No, 50s or 60s.
That late?
50s, yeah.
Well, I know it was recorded by Chad Mitchell Trio, but I think it was older than that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, it was actually a political song. Some of the pals in Boston said they won't be raising the fares for the subway, but not to get on, but they'll charge you more to get off again. So,
Well, the CTA did that on the Evanston line.
do they do that?
When you rode the express train, when it pulled out of Howard, here came the conductor down to collect the surcharge for the longest time.
Only if you're a guy, right? Surcharge?
Yes.
Ladies didn't have to pay.
Anyway, another foreign company has come in.
Yeah.
Wabtec, who makes supplies parts,
Westinghouse air brake.
has signed a deal with a Russian company to make freight car truck castings and market them in the U.S. Again, I didn't know our railroad market was that profitable. Apparently it is. And these freight cars are going to be built in Russia and other parts of Eastern Europe. Interesting. That's all I can say about it.
Those not under attack by the Russian army or...
It doesn't say. It just says that the name of the company is RPC-UWC. Bunch of Russian words, basically. They own all kinds of companies. They make all kinds of stuff for transportation.
Huh.
So they're like some kind of Russian transportation conglomerate. Okay, here's good news, guys.
Oh, good. We always like
Thank
good
God.
news.
First new rail bridge in 100 years opens between the U.S. and Mexico over the Rio Grande River.
Oh.
Over in, let's see where it says.
What they need it for?
Cameron County, Texas. It's called the West Rail Bridge.
Yeah.
It's a $120 million project. Took 15 years to complete. And it's going to allow rail traffic to go faster between U.S. and Mexico.
That's good. Glad to hear that. It's
So, and then our traction guy will like this. The El Paso streetcar is about ready to be restarted.
El Paso.
El Paso, Texas.
Yeah.
They used to run an international streetcar line between El Paso and, was that Juarez on the other side?
It was right, yeah.
And then it was closed down. Streetcars were put in storage. They're refurbishing them. They rebuilt the track on the El Paso side. I don't think they're going to go across the border anymore.
I saw an article about a guy who's been collecting streetcars for a long time. He's got just like...
Oh, yeah, that guy in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and basically anybody who starts a streetcar service with the heritage cars, they go to him to pick them up. I think, did Kenosha buy cars from this guy?
I think so.
No, they got this from Toronto.
Because that guy's got a couple of CTA cars sitting back there. I mean, when CTA sold some of the old 6000s to SEPTA, SEPTA got rid of them. They're sitting on this guy's property.
Did I tell you I wrestled in Kenosha? How many times? I mean, how many times did I tell you?
And Brookville Equipment is refurbishing the streetcars for El Paso. Fort Worth, Dallas, looks like they're going to get a high-speed rail between the two. It's partially funded by private money. It's supposed to connect with the rest of the high-speed rail in Texas at some point.
What point?
Some point. There's a railroad called the Texas Central. That's a privately funded project to build 240 miles of high-speed line between Dallas and Houston. And finally, this one will cause a chuckle. And of course, it's California. Modoc Railroad is now operating a unit water train.
Water train?
Yes, tank cars filled with water. It's a test train right now, 190,000 gallons.
Oh.
To be brought into Texas to water the plants.
What about in California to water the plants? Water the people?
I don't know. It's just that it says that for agricultural purposes, they could bring in treated water on these water trains to water the orchards.
Treated?
So we're now going to have a water unit train.
All right.
Going to California.
To California or from?
Two.
Oh, from there. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
From Texas?
Doesn't say where it's from.
Oh,
it's a mystery.
The North Pole or something. Maybe a lot of ice there.
I don't know. Sanitary district.
Just like in all these water companies that continue to suck water out of the aquifer to give you bottled water, while the rest of the state is having problems getting drinking water. Period.
What about they dammed up the water in California in that one area for agricultural use because they were trying to save a guppy or something like that. They thought, it may have been there. Remember that a few years back? Anyway, we got a few minutes to go. Last session we started kicking around the idea we probably take more time, but can somebody name? We were talking about someone earlier. Any good, favorite, or even funny, campy sort of railroad movies you could mention? Would be fun to see, or someone mentioned one earlier. What was it? What would you mention?
Oh, we were talking about the movie Snowpiercer,
Yeah.
which is a set in the future train that runs through snow after the world collapsed due to a new ice age.
Oh, okay. This was how old a movie?
What?
How old did when this originally come out? You know?
Last year.
Was it? Oh, that
Yeah,
recent.
2014.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it's actually more of a political science movie than it is a railroad movie.
Yeah.
But it is set on a train.
Okay.
What was that movie with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder back in the
Silver
80s?
Streak?
Yeah, Silver Streak.
Yeah. Did you see it?
That's a good flick.
It is. Yeah.
And there was Throw Mama from the Train.
Well, another good flick.
Another good one, yeah.
Silver Streak, and what was the other one? With
And that was the second version of Silver Streak. There was an earlier one done with Chicago, Burlington, and Quincy equipment.
And who was in it? Do you remember?
No, I don't. That was made in 1928, 1929, somewhere around there. Mr. Bryan would know next time he's here.
I know you're a big 007 fan. There, and you know the whole film isn't predicated on the train, but there is a large portion of the film in From Russia with Love with Sean Connery that's shot on the train. Some great fight scenes with the actor from Jaws. What's his name?
Yeah.
He plays the villain in From Russia with Love. Is it
Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw.
Robert Shaw. Yeah. I saw that with my son-in-law Sean recently. You know, and he's a good guy, and he's a 007 buff. I know that. We watched it with him, and that's him. The mystery voice is him. I'm going to give it away right now. Hello, Sean. I hope you enjoyed your visit today.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Thanks
You
for
were
having
our
me.
audience, and a lot of fun.
Great chauffeur.
He lost a bet and he had to drive me here. That's what happened. So
Right, dinner's on you.
it's always on me. Breakfast on me, you know.
Right.
But anyway, it's funny how last time we started talking movies, trains and movies, and it's just like gave a whole shot of energy to everybody. Of course, you got the general. What? What do you got? What do you got? Go on.
Finish.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. A lot of people talk about never say anything, right?
Jump in.
No, you're talking a bit earlier about local things going on, like we got the Lincoln car coming to Hammond.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Remind me.
Got a couple events that you can mention these. We got Illinois Railway Museum,
Yeah.
the 19th and 20th. They have their members weekend, running a lot of equipment out there. You can go ride your Green Hornet. John can go ride his Red Rockets. They've got the trolley buses out there. They got the last two trolley buses from Chicago, and they're both operating now.
It's open to everybody.
It's open to everybody, and on the members weekend they do late night operations till almost midnight.
We were out there last year.
Where is that? Is that the one up in Union?
Yes.
Yeah.
IRM.org, isn't it? IRM.org?
Right.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't miss your exit. Because they're doing construction. You miss your exit, you got to drive 20 miles north and back.
Yeah, we didn't
That makes
give
it
to
exciting. That makes it exciting.
But you talk about old movies. So we were watching on Western the other night, and one of those channels. I don't know what are all these extra channels you got now. That, like
There's a channel called Movies.
Yeah, right. That's what I mean. It wasn't that one like it, but this is an old Western. Gabby Hayes was in it. You know, this was so old. Gabby got the girl. That's how old it was. You know,
Right.
How old was the girl?
hard to tell. But I suppose most of our audience over at the schools won't know who Gabby Hayes is or was or any that sort of thing. So anyway, for you old folks, of course the teachers won't know either.
Do you know the true story about Gabby?
What about him?
He actually pulled all his teeth so he could look older.
Did he?
Yes.
Well, he was an actor on Broadway, and he went west when the stock market crashed.
That's hardcore.
He was George Hayes. He's in a lot of pictures as just George Hayes. He's in kind of prominently featured in Mr. Deeds Goes to Town. He's one of the farmers. You know, a lot of lines in it.
He's in a lot of the Roy Rogers movies.
Oh yeah, that's where he became Gabby.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be, I forget who was it, Hopalong Cassidy's sidekick, Wendy so-and-so. And he left that part, but he couldn't be Wendy anymore, so he became Gabby. He kept that name, Gabby. So anyway, we digress. But it's about time to digress for the month, isn't it? Well, out there. I want to thank everyone who showed up, and we want to thank our call-in, Brother Brian Valou, and Ron Smolin, orchestra leader. You got any big dates coming up now? We got to give a plug now for whoever's listening.
October 11th, Willowbrook Ballroom,
Okay. And then what's the name of your band anyway?
the Ron Smolin Orchestra.
Very good.
Oh, is it big band? Big, you do like swing
band.
music?
Yeah.
Great. Terrific.
Yeah, good thing to know.
I'll have to take the missus.
Dave Darushka,
Dave Darushka.
thank you for everything today and
You're
for
welcome.
the diligence you put in the research. And those guys will pan out one day. Some callers backed out on us.
We'll get him.
We'll get them. We always get them. And Doug Kanyuk,
Yes, sir.
and thank you for everything.
No problem.
And I want to thank our mystery guest, Sean Corey. I did it again.
That's right, of the Tyrone quarries.
Tyrone. Oh, Tyrone, yes.
Yeah.
This
I
is
think that's in Ulster.
Ulster.
Not really sure.
Not Tyrone Shoelaces?
It is pronounced Tyrone there, isn't it? Tyrone, just like that, right?
Tyrone.
I thought it was Tyrone.
It might be Tyrone.
Over there, I never know.
Yeah.
But that would be near,
I think that's over near you, near Harlem.
no, it's over, what was I going to say? It was, anyway, on behalf of everyone, I want to wish you all, and we get ready, John, happy rails to you.
All aboard! Next stop, Chicago Junction.
You have been listening to Chicago Junction on Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM Norwich and the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on Monday, September the 14th, the year 2015. Chicago Junction was produced by Jack Ryan, directed by John DeVita. And we want to give special thanks to the radio station manager of WRHS FM Norwich, Mr. Kevin Zeflik, and the executive producer of Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network, Mr. John Secondo. This broadcast was pre-recorded on Thursday, September the 10th, the year 2015. Until next time, please be safe, and thanks for listening. And this is Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM, Norwich, Illinois. Have a great day, everyone, and thanks for listening.